And in this first in a series of interviews with eco-entrepreneurs, I'm pleased to be joined today by Martin Chilcott, founder and CEO of 2 Degrees. Hello Martin.
Hello.
Thanks for spending the time today. You are what most people would call a serial entrepreneur. With that in mind, and before we talk about 2 Degrees, could you tell us a little bit about the other ventures that you've been involved with?
Sure. So I've been working for myself and setting up businesses almost from the point of view of leaving university. Not all of them successful, some pretty tough lessons on the way through which we might touch upon later. But we had initially a consultancy for high-tech consumer products. Did a lot of work with the Carphone Warehouse when they had one store and helped them grow into being the European market leader. We then switched that business in about 1993 to 94 into a internet business development consultancy called Clarity, which went on to do some fun things. It launched Abbey National's bank Kahoot, for instance, and a couple of other very interesting things. Sold that in April 2000 to a US NASDAQ listed company called Proxicon. We stayed with them for a year before they were in turn bought by a company called Dimension Data, which was at the time a FTSE 100 IT Cisco value-added reseller and integrator.
Okay.
And then I had a great time working for them as their group marketing director for a few years. They were based mainly out of South Africa, and I had just a fabulous time. It was a lifestyle. For me, it became a lifestyle job. And at some point, I started feeling I ought to get back to doing my own thing again. And I've always had a passion for education in the environment. So I set up with some colleagues an education business which transforms schools and outcomes for kids in schools in difficult, challenging circumstances. And that's called Place Group. It still runs today, a really great business. And then we set up a green business incubator here in Oxford.
Okay.
Associated and working closely with a couple of the university departments and the business school called Meltwater Ventures. And out of that we have launched 4 businesses. So Susenco, which is an energy services company. Community Central, which is a bit like 2 Degrees, which we'll talk about in a bit, but aimed at communities, geographical communities, consumer communities. A company called GoLo, as it was then, which we in fact divested ourselves from, but the management team went on to launch, which is called Carbon Voyager now, and how much does that take me to? And then 2 Degrees, there we are, there's so
okay.
2 Degrees there.
Biggest lessons you learned with your previous ventures?
Only 3. That's a tough one. Okay, well there was one very early on. We had a very nasty experience, which I guess will never quite go away. Which is we were the victims of fraud from a very credible seeming, harmless seeming individual, and I think who very nearly brought down the business and kind of reduced us to bankruptcy.
Right.
So I think there's something about really getting to know the people that you're working with closely. And clearly we didn't do this on this occasion. And recognising that the people that you built around you in a team, therefore, are absolutely critical. And you are only as good as the team you built around you. And probably, I think it was Anita Roddick who said that the number one role of the entrepreneur is to set out a vision that brings other people with them. And that actually most of the really great stuff, the really making it happen, and the creativity and the things that make the business a success come from that wider team. And the entrepreneur's role is to try and bring that team together, I think. Okay. So that's kind of probably a couple of lessons rolled into one there. Another one is, I think, all about the fact that businesses, only in my experience, the businesses I've run, have never done that kind of nice straight line growth that you put in your business plan. They've always been much flatter for much longer than we'd have hoped, and then they've taken off much sharper.
Okay.
And maybe that's always because I've been involved with businesses where we're trying to do something completely different with a new business model, trying to break the mold, and so therefore it takes time for us, to get the business plan and the business right. So I guess another lesson is your business plan is always wrong. As soon as you take it to market, you realise how wrong it is, and hopefully not too wrong. So you're spending your time learning how to make it right, and then your customers spending time getting to understand you and understand what you're offering because it's new. So it often takes, it always seems to take longer, and then it lifts off sharper.
Okay.
My experience.
Okay, thank you. Some very useful insights there. 2 Degrees. Can you summarise what 2 Degrees is, please, and what it offers its members?
So 2 Degrees is a service for businesses and organisations, public and private sector organisations, and professionals who are in sustainable business. So they are part of this transition that we're going through in the economy, from high carbon, unsustainable economy to a low carbon, sustainable economy. And it's a service for them. And it's a service that is unique because it provides information access, connections, solutions, collaborative problem solving, all by harnessing the world's leading community of practice for those professionals. So 2 Degrees is now over 8,000 individual members from over 100 countries, organised and self-organised into what we call working groups. And these working groups focus on issues like carbon management or energy or the carbon reduction commitment and energy efficiency schemes, water, waste and so forth, all trying to understand and help the members of those groups gain insights into best practices, solutions that already exist, connecting up and making the market work. So that's what has happened, and off that community practice base we leverage a whole series of services. So we have what we call corporate insight services, which are designed to give digests and information and open innovation challenges on behalf of clients who've got a kind of footprint or a problem that they want to resolve. We have advisory services, which are strategy consulting, but with the difference that we draw upon the expertise and experience of the members in the community of practice to enhance the quality of the insights and accelerate the delivery of the consulting. And then lastly, implementation services, because we get to know very well the needs of our members as clients, and we get to know very well the offerings of our members as suppliers. And so very often we're in an ideal situation to help the two to come together.